go and take it over, Nathan?
Yep, we'll do. Okay,
Yeah.
so here we are in the team up. Minus Sean Dupree for the evening, but as usual, we have Justin and we have Colleen, and our guest for tonight is James St. Clair.
Hello.
Hi, James.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no
Thanks for
problem.
coming on.
I'm almost done.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your studio.
Cool. I'm James. I have various different things that I work on. I am co-founder and lead programmer at Lonely Monster Games. We have a mobile game out called Boy and Pop. Since iOS 8 release, there is an issue with the iOS version. We're waiting for Apple to approve that. But it's on Android also. It's free. Take it out and see what you think. We are working on Gratis, which is a strategy space game. And you can check that out on our website, lonelymonstergames.com. It's pretty detailed to talk about.
Oh, it's okay. I played Boy
And you
and
said
Pop.
that this is. You said that this is a.
Cutting out there, Nathan.
Yeah, he's dead.
And we might. I hope he's not dead.
Yeah.
All right, so Colleen, I think you started to say something.
Yeah, I was just saying I played Boy and Pup and I really liked it. It's a boy who goes through different rooms with ghosts. You gotta pretty much find a key to get out of the room while dodging ghosts. But yeah, I played it on iOS and I didn't see many problems. What was wrong with it?
We had one person report that on their iPhone 6 with iOS 8 that the screen is untouchable because it's sideways. I'm guessing that's a Unity export issue. But we've only had the one person say something, and I don't have an iPhone 6 yet to test on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just have like a little iPod, so. Yeah, but it works pretty well.
Awesome.
And,
Sweet. So, looking at some of the graphics here for like Gratis too, I mean, like that has a really, I mean, it looks really clean.
Yes, it's still not even in alpha yet, really, because there's still a lot of things that we have to go through. We play with the settings a lot on it. The UI was made by Heather Walters, one of our team members, the lead artist. The idea originated from Jake Walters. We were kind of sitting around and we were kind of thinking on a way to make a board game because he likes board games. And this, I was just like, wow, this could definitely be a game that we work on. He was like, you know what? I see that too. And so we kind of started working on the game design, did a game design document for it, and decided that we should go for it.
hey, Nathan, can you bring it up?
I don't know how to share my screen just now with.
Oh, you're just like me.
Here, I got it. I got up a post here. Let me
Oh, yeah,
screen
okay.
share.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So
It's pretty cool.
just pulled up a little video. I have it muted right now, so it's not making too much noise. So I have no idea what you guys are talking about in the video yet. But
Yeah, so we're just kind of going through the menu and how things look. This is the layout that you're going to look at. You have the center planet's going to be your home planet.
so real quick, is this like a level select menu right here, or is this the actual like gameplay screen?
Yeah, you are in game at this point.
Oh, okay, alright.
You might want to pause it because it's going to do a couple different things while it's going through.
Sure, it's paused now.
And so the center part is your home planet, and then these are these other planets are planets that you can go to. And then whenever you click on them, it brings up detailed view, which I think if this video is so this video is the one that you can actually see the details on, and it'll go through. And then so you have two menus up at the top, and it's those two menus are
Looks like
things
defense and
where you can
mining.
actually like build items, and once you build them, then you can send different ships to different planets, mine the resources, and bring them back. The objective of the overall objective is to get your people off this planet, because this planet is dying, and the whole solar system's dying, and so you're building arcs, and you're loading all of your people on these arcs, and you're trying to get them off the planet onto a new planet.
Mhm.
So, sort of RT-ish
Yeah.
or RTS-ish, but it doesn't. Is there combat in the game or not? It doesn't seem like there's much, or at least you didn't mention it.
Yes, there. That's the next part that we're actually working on is a combat system, and it's a bit of a tower defense in a way, because you have a defense tab there, and you have defensive ships. And so there is, and you only have 5 ships that you can have active at one time, and you can repair those ships, and so there's a little bit of tower defense, there's a little bit of RTS, there's a lot of resource management that goes on. It is a crazy idea.
So it really does kind of sound like a board game, like you're saying, almost like a little bit.
Yeah, very much so.
So how far have you gotten in the game?
So right now we have what you see here. You can build all the ships. You can send ship. You can build the small miner, large miner, and data. And so the data probe, you can go and actually see what is on the planets before you mine, if you choose. Of course, there's a cost to that. And then the small and large you can send out. And the small miner can go short range, and we're actually working on the wording because it's kind of misleading. But the is short range, and you can deliver more to your planet. And then the large miner, you can go further out, but you can only carry so much. So we have all of that built in, but right now we're working on the defensive side.
So in terms of like those kind of like how you were saying, like the small miner has the shorter range but larger, I guess like cargo hold or capacity, so to speak. And then the large miner is kind of like the opposite. Do you have like, I guess, how detailed is it? Is this like like extremely detailed? Like you have like stats on every little different thing, like how much fuel you have and like your your cargo hold and things like that, or is it just kind of like a little bit more generalized and basic?
At this point, our plan is to go a bit basic. Because obviously you're going to run out of resources on these planets, and so as you run out of resources and these planets actually destroy, new planets will then come in, and then there is a bit of a leveling system. So the data is going to give more data, more detailed data, more accurate data. The small miners will be able to bring more in. And maybe go a little bit further out, probably not, and then the large will go further out and be able to carry more. And so there's a bit of a leveling system, but the player doesn't really concentrate on that because there's so much going on. We felt like if you can actually tweak those things, it might be way too much in the game design.
Yeah, it'd take a lot of balancing. I mean, the more variables you throw in there.
Yes.
Have you guys heard or played about Trade Wars?
Trade Wars? I have not.
Oh, okay. It's like a really old game that was something similar to this. You have resources and stuff through different planets. But yeah, it just kind of reminds me of that. That was actually my first game that I ever worked on back in 2000 with a company called Realm Interactive, and but we never actually finished it. But yeah, it was a pretty cool type of game.
Cool, I'll have to check it out. So this is one of the planets, and these are the resources that you have here, and they're just random numbers. It's not balanced whatsoever. But at this point, this is what you're going to be able to see as far as the details view on each planet. And so each planet that you tap on will have this. Now this planet actually has been mined first. That has a data probe that's been sent to it. and that's what you'll actually see whenever a data. You'll actually see that data. Now, if you don't send the data probe, it will just say how much you've actually taken away from the planet.
Okay. So, if you don't mind, what's the victory condition, and what's the game over condition?
Yeah, the victory condition will be actually removing all of your people off the planet. Um,
Okay.
it's going to be a long process. It really is. And so I might do like a shorter mode and be able to play through it really fast. And so there's like less people and more resources, kind of like an easy mode.
Hmm.
That's our plan for Gratis.
Well, it looks really cool. So who's doing the graphics?
Heather Walters, you can find her on Twitter at hwalters80, I believe. Or you can go to the Lonely Monster Games, and I think it has her posted on there too.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember. So is it just you and her working on these games, or is there someone else?
There's one other person, Jake Walters. He is our project manager. Our media person, game designer. He wears a lot, and also awesome at the music. He's done all of our music and sounds, and I keep trying to get him to do some freelance stuff for sounds, but he stays busy.
Oh.
He is amazing at the sound, and Heather is awesome at the artwork.
Oh, that's pretty cool. How long have you guys been working on stuff?
Heather and I have actually been doing mobile games through a local community college for 4 years now, and we decided to break out and do our own things. So we've had Lonely Monster Games for a year and a half now.
That's pretty cool. When did Boy and Pup get released? Like,
Boy and Pup was released December of last year, so we're rolling up on 1 year.
oh, cool.
We've had last time I looked, a little under 3,000 downloads between the two markets. Not
nice.
bad for indie.
I don't know too much on that. I haven't even actually released a game yet. So.
It's a very saturated market.
Yeah, I know.
What is broccoli? Broccoli?
Broccoli. We did Tag Jam 10, I believe is what it was. It's a game jam. It's a 10-day long game jam because both Heather and Jake have full-time jobs on top of doing this. I do freelance game development and all that to supplement my pay, so I'm full-time indie. But Broccoli is our game jam game. The theme was sacrifice, broccoli, and something else. And so what you have is your decked out GMO broccoli.
Oh, it's GMO broccoli.
And you have your
That's awesome.
organic.
It looks like Rambo. It's holding like this giant Gatling gun. It looks like it's ready to like kick ass and take names.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we were going
I feel like
for.
you guys were channeling the 80s.
Oh yeah, there's some Dolph Lundgren in there
Life,
for sure.
liberty, and the bro suit of happiness.
Justin, do you have a view of that?
Come again?
Do you have a view of that you could share?
Oh yeah, here. Let me pull that up. Just on their
Justin,
site.
I'm gonna try and figure out how to do this screen sharing. Oh wait, is it just a screen share button?
Yeah, just screen share, and then it'll let you pick the monitor screen. I should probably click on myself, so there we go.
You should actually be able to play through it, I believe.
Play now.
Oh, go for it. Just play some. Yeah, go for it, dude.
You gotta see broccoli, GMO broccoli.
When did you make this?
We made this in the spring of last year.
Last
Or-
year?
or I guess this year.
I know that Google's changing something with, I don't remember what it was, and it was going to mess with Unity Web Player. So hopefully, I don't think that happens until January. So I was going to say like basically old, not even old, but just things that were put out with Unity before whenever it changes won't work. Oh, it looks like it's working. Let's hope it's not too loud since I have my headset on. I think it froze. It does this whenever I have to load like that.
Oh.
Oh.
This is a problem on my end, not the games. This is common for me. I don't know why
Let me
it
see
does
if I
this.
can get it to work.
I really envy people that actually finish something.
It's definitely a skill. I've only finished a couple things, and I've started far too many. So
That's why I like writing reviews. It's a lot easier to complete a review of a game than an actual game.
all right, click start, bro.
Click to start, bro.
Bro was alone.
Get it, Bob. Bro is alone.
Oh, bro's sad.
Poor bro. He was sad. Oh my god.
Who did the music for this?
Poor Teamup, bro.
Jake Walters did the music for this.
Oh, okay, all right. How long have you guys worked together? Like your kind of core team. It sounds like the three of you.
We've had Lonely Monster Games for a year and a half now.
Okay. America.
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 So what made you
Alright.
pick that game, Lonely Game, or Lonely Monster?
Lonely Monster is a phrase that Doctor Who says in one episode. It's every lonely monster needs
I
a
don't know what I'm
companion.
doing.
You shoot the
Oh, she's getting screwed up.
yeah, she
Oh,
gets hit.
I was like trying to like click and hold. I'm horrible at this. Apparently. Get over here.
Oh, I thought you were supposed to kill the little broccoli dude.
Yeah, that's why.
Chick?
That's why I tried shooting for a while.
Yeah, I would have too. I would
Jeez,
have
I'm getting
really...
swarmed.
Are you shooting a broccoli gun?
Oh, I think so. Oh, I clicked too fast. I
Yeah.
game over and I clicked too fast.
Ladybugs are pretty evil, though.
Yeah, they were a pain. I think I was shooting broccoli out. Yeah.
Yeah, broccoli seeds, or not the seeds, but the florets on the stem.
Nice. So the top of the broccoli tree. I was looking at those little trees, so like the leaves.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Something that I saw that I'm pretty sure is you. You were getting started a few weeks back was craft beer trading. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's what I was gonna mention about.
What?
Yes. So Jake and I really like craft beer, and craft beer is definitely trending right now, especially in the geek market. And so we kind of came together and thought of the idea of actually being able to trade beer. And so what this is you wouldn't trade with us. We are basically going to be a middleman where you could log on, see create a list of like a wish list, or create a seller list of beer that you're aging, or create a trade list of beer that you want to trade or get your hands on. And so you would basically search on the stuff that you want and find people that have that and propose a trade with them. And then you guys, between the two users, they facilitate the trade and ship it to each other. And so you can leave feedback ratings and things like that.
That's a really interesting idea. It's like you're, I don't know. It's like a beer swap meet.
Yeah, very very much so. So
Dare
like
I say a beer team up?
the team, yeah.
Right, but you don't have to.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of people do like a bottle share. So if one person brings a bottle of beer or two bottles of beer and shares between the group, and so that way you can try more expensive beer or rare beer, And so you can actually try it without having to pay for like $10 for a 12-ounce bottle or something, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, for like the good stuff.
Yeah. For one bottle.
Good
Well,
lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was actually making beer, I think it'd be pretty cool. But I am not. But I like beer.
Well, you don't. I don't think you have to necessarily be the one making it.
No, this is more for people that like beer but can't find the beer. So Jake and I live in an area. It's kind of a small area. And we have one like major beer store that sells a variety of different beer. Then we have like Kroger and Food Line, what everybody else has. And we have quite a few Virginia breweries, but we can't get our hands on like Rare Release Stone or some of these other small batches. And our main focus is more on for our users to try new beer, but also we want to tap into the breweries and deliver them data like, hey, you know, all these people in Virginia are loving your beer, but they can't get it, you know.
Yeah.
And give them some of those metrics and sell them that information that they can use to help them and also promote their businesses, you know.
So you guys are like beer indies.
We are beer indies. I'm
That's
a
pretty awesome.
startup. I am a serial startup fella. So I'm always trying to think of a new startup idea. And Jake and I, we were just like, hey, we should do it. There are other people out there, but their interface is terrible, and it's hard to actually navigate and use. And so we're gonna do it simple. We're gonna put our users first, not just throw something out there, and build a brand behind it.
That's awesome.
Maybe I should tell. There's an Alpine brewery like 2 miles from me, and I should tell them about it.
Yeah, we're not up yet. We're kind of doing market validation before we spend, because it's a lot of development on me, you know, and a lot of brand development for him. And so we're basically in market validation right now. If you go to my Twitter, there is a survey on there to see it, and we're currently taking surveys to see how people like the idea and what features that they like. So
See, I actually partly took it, but then it was talking about trading beers, and I never traded beers before, so I wasn't really sure like what to do on that. So I just kind of.
Yeah, if you haven't traded beer before, that's absolutely fine. Even if you don't like beer, any feedback is good feedback for us. Most people, or a lot of people, haven't traded beer. It's not something that is well known, and it's mostly hard to actually find somebody else to trade with.
And isn't it difficult to send like food and like liquids and stuff through the mail and such?
It is not. It's not really difficult. It is illegal through the
USPS.
USPS. It is illegal, but it's not illegal through
UPS or FedEx.
FedEx.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so like the private ones. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which is what we're going to actually have on our website. We're going to tell people.
I've actually looked into it, and I've heard that the USPS is considering trying to reform that rule, because there are a lot of people that like to trade beers and wines and whatnot.
Yes, absolutely.
I was going to say, I actually live in Portland. We have more craft breweries in our city than any other city in the world.
Yes.
Really?
So, yes.
Jeez.
Like, in the world, not the nation, in the world. So, and like there's all kinds of like not just like craft breweries, just like big name breweries. Like Henry Weinhard's started here in like the 1800s even. So we've always really been big into beer. I think it really got really big in the 80s, but when we started like having like a huge number of them. But yeah, so I guess maybe that's why I've personally never traded beers, because I have pretty much anything you can imagine here.
Right.
A little spoiled in that respect, but yeah.
We have Stone here.
I know. So jealous.
We've got some nice places to have beer. Like there's the I believe it's called the Hartford Hall or something like that, and Iron Hill Brewery down in Philadelphia, which are great places to go. Frankfurt Hall, that's it. I actually had my part of my bachelor's party was at Frankfurt Hall. Fantastic place to go.
Awesome.
You can get beer by the liter
By the leader.
and a giant mug.
We have a lot of microbrews around here. Like Wolf Hills is one fantastic place. One of the brewers actually came from Stone, from Wolf Hills. Damascus, Parkway, like there's just a bunch of small places here in Virginia. And it's like that everywhere in all the states, that more and more microbreweries are starting to come up because there's extra profit.
Yeah, and I've been hearing a lot about those. Just like they seem to be, like you said, just coming up everywhere.
Yep, it's easier for them to get the equipment now. It's much cheaper than what it was because there's more manufacturers.
Yeah, you could literally start a little microbrewery in your garage. Like
Yeah,
it's-
I got a friend actually,
No, go ahead, I'll start.
miles from me that actually makes his own beer. I tried it.
Yeah.
Had a lot of hops in it, which I like, so it's pretty good. So I'd be willing to try more indie breweries.
Need to parallel to each other. It's like I don't know.
So I want to talk about one other game I'm working on.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm working with Gavin. I don't remember. I think he actually removed his Twitter name and changed it to @BiggerInAmerica is his Twitter handle, I think. And so I was on Twitter one day and actually used your hashtag, Indie Teamup, and he was looking for help with C#, and I thought that he had a question, and I was going to offer up, the question. And he was actually looking for a C# developer. And so, I talked with him, and I usually don't really just team up with someone that I don't really know, because I'm full-time indie, so it's more of a risk than just, spare time type work. And so he already had most of the art done, which is a plus. Anytime someone comes to you and wants to make a game, and most of the art is done, it's amazing. It's amazing. Some of the programming was done, but he really was stuck. And so I took a look at it, and we decided to team up together. And so the name is Bigger in Texas.
Oh, okay, I seen that on your profile. I didn't know what that was, though. Okay.
I think I've seen that a couple times actually.
And so Gavin wants to bring Bigger in Texas and let Lonely Monster Games publish it. And so we're still working out the final details, so I can't officially say that, but that's what our plan is.
Just
right
a
now-
deal you guys are working through right now.
Come again?
That's just a deal that you guys are kind of working out right
Yeah.
now.
That's our verbal agreement to it, and we still have the business side of it to work on through Lonely Monster Games, for legalization of profits and whatnot. And so Bigger in Texas is going to be a demo, and I'm officially releasing that we are going to do a Kickstarter. And so with
Wow.
our Kickstarter, we are going to release a demo for people to play and be able to see how the game's actually going to feel before they back it. And to prove that, we have the means to finish and to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so
And that's a
scary
good
now. Like,
move.
I'm gonna say when you have a demo out, either people will love it or people will hate it.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think that's fine. I mean,
But-
you're never going to make something that everybody likes. So,
Yeah.
Because if you do, it's
That's
going to be too
also-
bland and boring, and nobody's going to actually like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
that's actually something that's been coming up. I'm sorry, that's been something that's been coming up a lot on Kickstarter too. Like I know Courier of the Crypts and Convoy, I believe, both of those had demos for their games that were out, and you could play them while it was up on Kickstarter. So it gives you an idea of what the game's about and what you can look forward to. I like it.
I think we've really seen a huge decline to the point where it's pretty much non-existent in the AAA world of game demos. Because like they were really big in the
Yes.
'90s. Every time you got any kind of game magazine, you get demos, and there were other ways you'd get demos. But it turns out that it was a bad business decision. Because if you think about it, it takes the developers a little bit of extra time to they have to make a demo. It's not like they can just like push a button and there's a demo. They have to, as they're working on the game, like actually determine, okay, what's the demo? Do a little bit of extra work for that, and then work on however they're distributing it, pushing out, yada yada. And literally the only thing it will do is prevent people from buying your game. Because because here's the thing: if people try it and they like it, they're going to buy the game, right?
Right.
But if they don't like it, they're not going to buy the game. If they don't
And then
ever,
get so much
if you don't
more
ever do a
stuff.
demo, they're gonna see it and they're gonna decide if they want to buy it based off of like your advertising, whatever video you show,
Oh.
right? So like,
No, that's a good call.
I mean, in some ways, I mean, it's a good business decision, which is why we've seen a huge drop off because literally every developer that was pushing out demos, they were actually seeing a loss in sales rather than an increase. Because the people that want it, that were already basically the people that played the demo, that were already fans, so they knew about the demo and they played it, they were already going to buy the game anyways. But the couple people that knew about it enough to know like where to get the demo that got it, actually, that didn't like it, they decided not to buy it then. Whereas they would have bought it and probably be upset afterwards, but they would have bought it had they not played the demo. So
Yeah, and the other side of it, because Jake and I talked about releasing a demo for Boy and Pop because it was 99 cents, and the units were not moving on it, so we were like, much rather have it free than nothing, And so we talked about it, and I agree with you. But I'm going to throw on another aspect of, with some people, they just want to play and understand the game and the mechanics, not necessarily the full storyline. And I think that's the other side of it, is the people that just, okay, well, I can say I played it, I played the mechanics, I understand what the game's about, and I don't have to pay for the full game.
yeah. Well, just to be clear, like I wasn't saying it's my personal opinion that it's a good decision, or sorry, a bad decision to do demos.
Right.
That's just like business wise, it's pretty clear that it's not a good decision because you can't really actually gain new followers because the people that know about it were already your followers.
Right.
So, but yeah, I would love to see demos come back because I think it's an amazing consumer tool. People can play because personally, if I make a game, I would rather have fans that spend the money, or sorry, enjoy the game, spend money on it, rather than people that don't like the game because they didn't get it and spend money on it, even though because they didn't get to play a demo or something, and then now they're upset, customers.
So you'd rather have a small group of fanatical acolytes than a massive army of semi-committed mind slaves.
Well, I mean, now we're talking in extremes, but I mean, in a way, I mean, I would rather have people that enjoy the game and are more willing to give constructive criticism than customers that don't like the game because of just what the game is, things that aren't going to change, like what it's about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then because their complaints aren't going to be constructive, they're going to be like, cussing you out because you made some crappy game because it's a genre they didn't like or whatever.
Right. That's true as well.
I miss demos, and I was really glad that the I think it's like PT Cruiser, the PT Silent Hills demo, like I enjoyed that. It wasn't quite Silent Hilly, in my opinion, but I'm glad that I got to experience the spookiness and everything like that, and it just makes me more excited for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
But the thing is though, is like, would you have bought the game anyway? Okay, so like assuming that you're planning on buying the game now, if you had not played that demo, do you think you would have already bought that or still bought the game?
Probably.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like playing the demo now, if the demo is horrible, you'd be like, I don't want to buy this. I was planning on buying it, but I'm not going to. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there would be far fewer people that were like, not fans of the genre and like been like, oh, I don't want to play this game, but I'll randomly try the demo, and then all of a sudden it wins them over. I feel like that number of people is significantly smaller than the number of fans that might be turned off by it.
I don't know though, because 3 different people watched me play it, and actually they played it too. They were excited for it, and they've never played a Silent Hill game before.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's probably a small amount, but it can change people.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was I guess that's what James been working on. Justin, what are you working on?
Right now, a couple different things. Sorry, I'm typing in chat right now. I'm actually working on kind of like a little RTS prototype game thing right now. It's just done in Unity. It's actually just a 2D top-down thing. I might make it 3D later if it becomes something. I've never actually made an RTS game, but I like them a lot. So it's just yeah, trying to go through that and see if I can actually make an RTS.
Okay, so is there an RTS you can liken it to? Because I've played widely in the RTS. I grew up playing Age of Empires. I remember when StarCraft and Brood Wars and such came out. I played a lot of Warcraft, a lot of Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 1, and I love Civilizations. Sid Meier is like the man.
Well, it's not like anything yet.
Like nothing.
But if there's anything that I'm probably going to kind of use as inspiration, and it's definitely something that I've thought about several times while I've been like going through and doing a little bit of design for it, is one you didn't mention, or at least I didn't hear you mention, is the Command and Conquer games. It's probably going to be more along those lines. So it's but yeah, so I mean it's definitely more your modern style RTS, like tanks and infantry, rather than aliens or orcs.
Okay.
If that's what
So
you
it's
were going for.
no. But so you were saying though that it's a little bit more like the Command and Conquer series, which
Yep.
I played the original Command and Conquer series widely with some childhood friends as well.
Yeah, there were definitely some favorites of mine. I don't know. I think they definitely went down. I couldn't pinpoint exactly when they went downhill, because there are a couple old ones that I weren't really happy with, but
Oh.
none. I don't enjoy any of the new ones. So.
Any of the new RTSs?
No,
Yeah,
no. Any of the new Command and Conquers.
Oh, okay. No, I know what you mean because I was playing those and they just I don't know.
I tried the browser-based one, also that free-to-play browser-based one.
Browser.
I think it's called Tiberian Alliance or something.
Browser based. That's like the redheaded step cousin of free to play for MMOs. You know what I mean? Lord.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I've tried pretty much every Command and Conquer. Older ones are some of my favorites. I'm a fan of both the traditional kind of Tiberian timeline, if you will, as well as the Red Alert timeline. I don't know if it's called the timeline, cool. Storyline. So, but I like both. Some people just kind of really like one or the other, but I think there's a lot more Red Alert fans than the normal storyline.
I thought they all had a lot. I thought they were all fun and they all had their own unique elements. Like with Red Alert, the whole like Soviet thing. Back in the '90s, it made sense because like the Cold War just ended, but now it's like 2014 and Soviet.
Well, the whole idea though is that it's an alternate timeline. I don't know how much you paid.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't pay attention to stories in some of those games. They're just like, tanks, let's shoot them. But yeah, it's
No,
actually an alternate timeline. So.
Yeah, it's just been a long time for me.
Yeah.
Like, a long time.
I haven't played any of those, so in the background. I played RPGs and missed games back then.
Yeah, definitely. I was a big fan of Warcraft, Warcraft 2, 3, StarCraft. A little bit outside of that genre. A bit.
Age of
And so I'm
Empires.
excited to see what you have going on over there.
Yeah, whenever I get something that's worth showing, I'll definitely do some screenshot Saturdays. It's it's nothing exciting yet. So it's literally, I think I just started like a week ago. So
Is Sean doing it too?
no,
I
he's
seen
working
that.
on something completely different. Different project. It's his own thing. His is going to be a lot more in the style of JRPGs, but think more
Oh,
kind of like your classic Final Fantasy games. Um,
gosh. Okay.
so that's what he's working on. He's kind of brushing up on Unity. He hasn't made a game in Unity for quite a while, so he's been doing a lot of web dev stuff. But so it's partially, you know, him brushing up on skills and trying out something new. And then he's the two of us have a good friend. His name's Tyler. He's an artist, and I think that he might try to get him in on that project too. The art. He's an amazing artist, so if that happens, you guys will see some really great art coming out of that.
Nice. Okay.
But
Sweet.
I'm sure once Sean gets back from his trip, he's back on the show. He'll be more than willing to show stuff. I think he actually showed like a little screenshot of the menu and like a little 2D sprite character
Okay. Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
screenshot on Saturday. It
Yeah.
actually might have been Sunday.
Yeah. I remember he posted it in Teamup.com.
Okay. I work over the weekend, so I miss a lot of this stuff.
I haven't done Screenshot Saturday in such a long time.
I know. I miss those dragons.
Like Dragon.
They're
A
amazing.
dragon game I want to make someday. I'll make it when I'm like 80.
As long as it gets made.
Yeah, as long as it gets made, man.
I am terrible. I always forget that it's screenshot Saturday, even though it's Saturday. It's just like I'm. Sometimes I don't work on Saturday, or I'm so focused I forget to post something.
That's how I am with Indie Dev Hour. Like, it was Indie Dev Hour this morning, and I was up. And then, like, it ends at 12, and, like, 12:45, I'm like, damn it, it's Indie Dev Hour again. Like, I always miss it. That pisses me off so much. But,
When is Indie Dev Hour? Is there one specific hour that is the Indie Dev Hour?
It's more than an hour. But
no, well, it's on my time in PST, it's 11 a.m. to 12.
yeah, but people post late and everything. But for the most part, I don't
Yeah,
really see
well,
posts for
where
outside of
everyone
Wednesday,
focuses,
though.
like, at 11 to 12. But I don't know. I don't post anything after that.
So it's more like 1 to 2 o'clock our time. EST.
Yep.
Okay. I'm like, you're sitting here doing the math in my head. So.
Eastern, right?
Yeah, East
Ooh.
Coast
East Coast.
Standard Time.
The West Coast.
So, Colleen, I guess that's what you're doing right now is working on. You said a demo for that.
Huh? No, not right now. I'm still trying to learn Unreal Engine.
Oh, really? How is that going? You said that last week.
And the week before.
Well, I don't get much time. I get like an hour or two a day. Let me see. I'll share.
Because from what you guys said last week, it sounded like Unreal Engine is like grueling or difficult or just much more challenging than like Unity and others.
Well, I think there's a lot more stuff. I've never used Unity, so I can't really say anything about that. But let's see. Share.
Well, Justin, have you used both?
No, I haven't used Unreal.
Okay.
Do you see this? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
This is all I've gotten.
Oh, so you're converting Red Cobra over?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I recognize the ship.
That's all it is right now.
Oh. Okay.
It honestly, I mean, it's a different. What do you call it? The editor is a little different, but it honestly, is very similar looking. It almost looks like Unity, just a little bit reskinned. So I mean,
Yeah.
which they probably did intentionally to help pull customers from Unity, make it a familiar looking workspace. I mean, it looks like
Yeah.
you have over there underneath your hierarchy. It looks like you have uh, your object, and it has all the components on it, like your transform, your material, sprite, physics, things like that. I'm assuming those are components
Yeah.
on an object, right?
Yeah. But it also has like the well, I guess there's nothing in here. Oh, yeah, then you have your
Is this a
blueprint.
blueprint? Okay, I was going to say, is this a blueprint? So,
Yeah. But I still haven't figured out blueprint, so I'm just doing C++. I said screw blueprint.
Oh, that's cool.
My last game was C++. My last game was C++. So I'm just gonna stick with
stick with
Visual
what you know.
Studio. Yeah. But it's been fun. But that is all.
Well, that's intense. Well, that seems kind of intense. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, I haven't played around with Unreal, but I um, I do talk with some students that are working on it, and it doesn't seem super user friendly to me. Um, but I also haven't played around with it, so I can't really see it personally.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Like I said, I haven't played with Unity, so I can't really say.
I don't know.
Um,
I look at Unity, and like now it's like the most intuitive thing to the world, but it's because I use it so much. But I know when I first started using Unity, I think it was at the tail end of when it was version 2. So it's only been a couple years that I've been using it. But
How
it's
long has Unity been out?
I don't know. They're about to. I think after the new year they're going to release version 5. So I actually don't know how long it's been out. I've used it
hmm.
for like at least 2.5, 3 years, so longer than that.
Okay.
But when I first picked it up, yeah, it was really unintuitive. It wasn't intuitive at all. I'd only ever done games in just never using a game engine. It was always I'd use frameworks, but it was all just C++ or Java or maybe some HTML5 and JavaScript or something like that. But yeah, using Unity was the first time. Well, no, I'd used the RPG Maker game engines as well as the Game Maker, but I'd never made a game with those. Like, well, I'm talking like RPG Maker on the Super Nintendo I'd used, so
Oh,
that
okay.
doesn't even really count.
See, we had
Um,
RPG Maker 2000 and RPG Maker XP, and we played around with those for like. We played around with those a lot when I was in high school, and me and my friends would just send short little games to each other. It was interesting.
yeah.
It was bizarre.
So Justin, was it really hard going to a visual? Unity's visual scripting, right?
No, you still just use UnityScript, which is basically JavaScript, or you can use Boo, which is some language that like two people in the universe use. Um, and I'm convinced one of them is like the CEO of Unity or something because I have no idea why it would ever be a language you could use. Anyways, and then the other one is just C sharp.
Okay, I see.
So,
Yeah. Okay, so I was gonna say it's I
and
don't
then
know. I don't.
if you have Unity Pro, you can actually create like DLLs in C++ or something and use those. But I think you need the Pro version to use DLLs. But so like if you have something that's like really performance intensive that just needs to be in C++ or something, you have that option. But the majority of your game is going to be in UnityScript or C sharp. I personally just use C sharp. But
That's how I would do it. I've never used Java or anything either. Just C++.
I graduated from Radford University with software engineering, so I've used a lot of stuff, and
Doesn't
a lot of
it?
stuff I would never use again, like Prolog or Lisp.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it end up just being almost the same? Like no matter what language you use.
what's that?
It's like once you use a language, you can learn another language because it's very similar.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
for the most part, I mean, it kind of depends. Like, if you're using a like more event-based language or not, something like Python is gonna still be like very different than like I don't know, C++. But in general, like in my opinion, C++, C Sharp, and Java are insanely similar. Just C++, you manage the memory on your own. But in terms of syntax, it looks very, very similar. Um, JavaScript's a little different, but it's a loosely typed language. But I think I don't know, it's close enough. I know a lot of different languages, so I'm of the mindset that once you learn one, you can pick up other languages easier because it's basically just learning the syntax and you know maybe specific
Yeah.
patterns that like you use in a certain language. But yeah.
I
So
completely agree.
what's the hardest language you guys ever messed with?
Hmm.
Um, I guess the hardest would be Prologue, just because it's the thought process is totally different.
Hmm.
Um,
How's it different?
uh, um, it's mostly recursive, so you pretty much write everything recursively, and as much as it's not hard to do recursive programming, it's just being
A different mindset?
being in that mindset just for that class was really hard.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get
Okay.
I could I think C++ was probably the hardest one I learned, but it was also the first language I learned. So
Oh.
I don't see it as being hard now. Um,
Yeah, since
but
that was
yeah,
my only language, is that it's that's all I know. So it doesn't seem really that hard to me.
yeah. I feel like other like the first language I picked up after C++, I believe was Java, and it's very similar. I mean, there are definitely some differences, but a lot of the differences are just like, oh, I want to do like just something simple like um, at the top of your like header file, you have your includes. Well, to do
Hmm.
that in Java, it's what is it, import, I believe. Um, use import, or like in C sharp, use what is it, using, I think they're using statements. It's all the same thing. It's just a different word, different syntax.
Okay.
So syntactically, there are differences, but just how things are structured, very very similar. So
Well, what about pointers and stuff? What do you think about those? That seems to be the most difficult thing that people complain about.
I don't have any problem with them. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I did when I first started, but we were in school. We were forced to use them completely outside of what real world uses there would be. So like understanding them at first was hard, but afterwards it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bit self taught at first, and then I went to school, and so going from like being self taught and essentially learning this is how things are actually done in the real world to going into school to learning like every like because when you're book taught you learn how to kind of like get along and generally do things, but you may not, I don't know, your learning isn't really structured, so you might miss out on little things here and there. So that's why I went to school also, and then going to school, it's like you go through every little detail, but then they try to give you examples for everything, and half the time it's just like you would never actually do that.
A lot of
So
my stuff, even at school, was kind of self-taught. I mean, it was so we had to go through so many different languages, do so many projects that there was no way that they could actually teach us the language, you know?
hmm
Um, to go back to the hardest programming language, mine would be Objective C.
oh, I've
Um,
never done that.
People love that programming.
I
That
love
stuff.
using it. I used it for 4 years, man, and it was hard for me to convince myself to move to Unity. Um, but loved it once I understood it. But it took a year to really understand how to use the language.
And that's
So
only Mac, right?
Yeah, that's Mac only. Well, iOS only. I don't think anything else. Yeah, I don't think anything else uses it.
yeah, nothing I'm aware of. So I didn't
Hmm.
see this earlier in chat. Nathan was saying that he Googled recursive to see I don't know if anyone's ever tried that.
Yes.
Google has a little bit of a joke. If people aren't aware what recursion is, it won't make as much sense. But essentially, if you Google recursion at the top, where or it's recursion or recursive, I can't remember. Maybe it does
Recursive.
it on both. But if you Google it, where Google normally says like "Did you mean?" it says the same thing. So when you click on it, it goes back to itself
Or if you
recursively.
just hit define word, it'll come up with like a little, dictionary definition. It had a little mathematical explanation specific to the field, which helped me understand.
Well, Google has a little
Change
joke.
that stuff. It hurts my brain.
Sorry, I thought you meant because Google has a little joke where if you Google recursion or recursive,
Really?
the suggestion links back to itself. So the suggestion is recursive. It's a joke that Google has little jokes, like what's the other one? I think if you Google Zerg Rush, like Google will actually like have like little letters from like the word Google that will like attack all the they'll Zerg Rush all your results and like it's like a little mini game. Google
Oh my
has
God, you're
little
right.
things like that.
Whoa! It's Zerg rushing all my
Yeah.
results. No, I needed those results.
I forgot about this one. I love this one.
Yeah. They have a lot of little funny things like that, but like in jokes and stuff.
Oh, you clicked them to kill them. Oh God! Oh, I'd lost. I lost at Google.
But
Oh,
so
man.
so Nathan, what have you been working on? You said more writing in our notes here. What have you been writing?
Yeah, basically, just more writing. Just today I reviewed two indie mobile games. One was called Chick Chick Chicky, where it's a lot more fun than it sounds. It's basically like you're a little chick, or you can be a little duck, and it's like Pac-Man. You go around the screen and collect like seeds or feathers, and there's these cats that chase you around, and you can get feathers to fight them and like knock them out like. You do with the ghosts in Pac-Man. And then there was also Jewel Breaker, which is it's a pretty simple game. You just tap this little jewel in the middle, changes the color, and then you can break all the different jewels that are coming in from the outside of the screen. It's kind of cool. Also, I have a press release today that Influent, the language learning game, has it just got the update for it. It got the update for Italian not too long ago. That was like a few months ago, and it just got Portuguese like within the last couple of days.
Yeah, I forgot you're into a lot of different languages. You went to D Lab and everything, so
Yes, I did. So I learned Korean, but
That's crazy. No Japanese.
yeah, every once in a while. Say
you know
what?
Japanese.
No, I don't do Japanese. Fuck no. I know some Korean. So I go.
Let me pick some random ones. Do you know I don't know? Do you know Russian? Do you know
Do you know Turkey?
Turkey?
I can
Turkey.
Turkey. Krishna suka means red bitch.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. We gotta learn Spanish here.
I understand a little bit of Spanish. I can read some Spanish.
He's like, I can order at Taco Bell.
Anybody can order a Taco Bell.
Oh, I was gonna
Alrighty.
show you guys something. Actually, it probably won't work. Never mind. My computer's like super slow.
That's okay. My internet, it evens out. Hopefully.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. But speaking of RTS, it's crazy slow. But this is an Unreal Engine sample
Is it an
of an
RTS?
RTS game. Yeah.
That's neat.
But
It
yeah,
looks
it's
like
one
a-
level.
It looks like it might be a tower defense also.
Oh yeah, that's one. Okay, tower defense.
Oh, so it's just a tower defense.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh
that's
no,
pretty
wave
cool.
one.
But so does Unity have like a thing like this where you just push play?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You can play and pause from within the editor.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I was playing this like 5 times. It's pretty fun. It's just one level.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, Unity usually comes with a sample project also. What have they've had quite a few. They're usually kind of like not necessarily first-person shooters, but it's usually some kind of shooter. Uh, at least the ones I remember. Yeah, I remember a third-person shooter. I think they had like I mean they're not like full games; they're like a level, but I think I remember a first-person shooter. And I think they had a platformer at one point also. Is like every time they have a new version, they oftentimes create a new sample project to try to show off some new features, that might have come out in that version.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Just so you can see an actual working example of like the new feature. But
Yeah, yeah.
The asset store, and inside the asset store, you can actually download full free projects that they've made.
yeah, yeah, they do a lot of like even outside of their versions, they'll do a lot of tutorials on things also that they put the projects on the asset store. The asset store is really amazing, honestly. I mean, yeah, there's paid stuff on there, and that's fine and that's great. You can get some really great products, tools, whatever assets. But also there's just a plethora of free stuff on there that people just upload so it's really great. Like when you're like going to start a project and you're like, hey, I'm let's say I'm a programmer and I can't do any 3D modeling or artwork, so I'm just horrible at it. Sometimes it can be hard to try to create some kind of piece of functionality or game mechanic if you don't have some kind of placeholders, and cubes don't always cut it. So there's a lot of free stuff on there. It's really great.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you were
The
telling me that
Unreal
you have some stuff up there too, right, Justin?
Yeah, I have a voxel framework on the asset store, so
That's cool.
it's been up there for a little bit.
How are sales like on the asset store? Like, is it a good market if I decide to move into it, to program something like that and put it up on the asset store? Would you have any like tips?
I've only put one asset up, and it's something I'm selling. It's a voxel framework, and I've had some good months and bad months. I mean, the most I've ever sold in a month was 9. It goes for $40, so it's not like a super cheap thing that you'd expect a lot of sales on. I
Right.
don't do like almost any advertising. I've tweeted a couple times about it, and that's it. So, I'm sure if it was basically I was teaching myself how to like do voxels, and I started like doing like a YouTube tutorial series on it, and then like I got partway through and I was like, hey, I really suck at this and I'm going about it the wrong way, so I'm gonna stop making this YouTube tutorial series and stop teaching people the wrong way to do it and actually go figure out how to really do it. So then I did that, and then as I started getting going with it, and I like made it real nice and multi-threaded and fancy, and it was really cool. And then I was like, hey, I really want to make a game out of this, and me and a couple friends and people I didn't quite know that well, like we kind of met up and started making a game, and then different things happened. Unfortunately, it fell apart. We didn't go through with making the game. We spent a lot of time designing it, and I was like, I put so much time into this that I don't want it to just like be for nothing. So I'm gonna put it up on the asset store. And then someone suggested like, well, don't do it for free. You could probably actually make money off it because it's pretty good. So it's not any of the game functionality. It's just simply the voxel framework, with all the procedural generation and everything that comes with that. But yeah, so I started selling it, and the first couple months I'd sell like 3 or 4 or 5, and then I think it was like August or September I sold like 9 of them, and I was like, holy cow.
Awesome.
I guess it must be working.
Yeah, I mean, 1 month was frustrating, because I don't know exactly how refunds work on the asset store, but there was somebody that purchased it and then 2 weeks later did a chargeback when I release it with full source code. So I feel like, and I had 0 complaints in that time frame. So I feel like the person might have just bought it and got the source code and then did a chargeback. So that's a little frustrating, but I mean, it's not like I'm making my living off of it, so didn't really hurt
Or
me.
maybe it was like a
But
5-year-old who got the credit card from her mom.
that's definitely a possibility. But I mean, like normally I would expect like a complaint like, "Hey, this doesn't work," or "Hey, this isn't what you doesn't do X or Y," and I thought it did or something before receiving a chargeback.
It might have just been somebody that bought something, they bought it, and they didn't even realize what they were buying at the time.
Yeah,
I
but
was actually worried about that
that's the
same.
only negative experience I've had on the asset store.
That was one of the things that was kind of holding me back because what really stops someone from downloading your system and like changing some of it and re-releasing it? It's tough.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone. I'm assuming that that's not what the individual did with it. It was either they bought it as a mistake, or they just wanted the source code and didn't feel like actually paying for it, or who knows what the case may be. I don't feel like they took it and then tried to rebrand it and re-release it.
Right. Well, that's just what I was thinking, like what people would do, or in your case, just buy it and get it for free.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, it's primarily developers who are using the Unity Asset Store, and I feel like for the most part, you're gonna have, I don't know, decent people. If they're gonna buy
There
it,
should be a
they're,
code. It's like a understanding,
yeah, like I mean,
among dev. I don't know.
like I said, out of all the months I've had this asset on, I've only had that one negative experience.
Cool.
Um, yeah, it's got good ratings. I've only sold probably a total of like maybe 50 or 60 copies of it, which is an okay amount, but it's not like an insane amount. And out of that, I've gotten like 3 written reviews, and they've all been positive 5-star. I don't know how many 5-star reviews I've had because it doesn't show the count. I don't think, but you can see like when a person leaves a written review, it shows their stars also. So I've got 3 written reviews that are all positive. So it's generally speaking, as long as you put something out there and it's good and you give it good effort and actually document everything, you should be good. Unity has the for the asset store, they go through and they review your product before they allow it to be on the asset store, and it takes like a week or two. And like they first kicked mine back and they're like, hey, like I went through and I documented stuff, but I didn't, I guess, document it well enough. So they go through and do some quality control, and they're like, hey, like you need to document some of this other stuff a little better. So I went through and I did that, and then it passed. So it was a pretty easy process getting it up on the store also.
Cool. Maybe I'll
So,
take a look at what's needed and build something.
so James, I mean, I guess you would have the most experience with this since I mean, I'll look at your guys' site and I see a lot of like you guys are putting out some projects. Looks like you're working pretty hard, pretty quickly to get some good quality games done. Justin mentioned earlier that they were working on something, it kind of fell apart. What's the key to maintaining that focus to get one thing done after another like that? Like, it looks like you guys are powerlifting over there.
I appreciate that, and we really are working hard. We actually took this art. Heather is getting her master's in art, and she has been really busy this semester. So we kind of took a break from that and kind of worked on the beer trading app. And my the best way to go about it, and this is what I tell some of the people that I work with in my life, and is for me, I put stuff on Twitter or a website or something like I let people know, and usually I'll have someone, hey, how is this going? If they haven't seen anything, and so for me, releasing it online kind of like holds me credible wise to releasing it and getting it done. Now, there's nothing wrong with stopping, especially if there's negative feedback or the money's just not there or the market's saturated or something like that. But for me, that's what really holds me to that deadline and keeps me focused because I need to deliver for people.
Okay. So knowing that there's people there kind of waiting back from you guys, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. When we first started releasing information about Flame Pop, we had a lot of people like, hey, how's it going over there? What are you guys up to? And that would also remind us, like, hey, we need to, release an update. We need to tell people about it. And I still get people with Gratis. I'll see them in person. They're like, hey, how's Gratis? Are you working on it? I'm really excited to see it. And that's
Yeah.
also rewarding.
Yeah,
So-
I think updates are very, very important. And if you don't do enough updates, people will just eventually forget about you.
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I was going to ask you, okay, so you have different people. Are you guys in different states?
Gavin is from Illinois. I am in Virginia, and Heather and Jake are within about 40 minutes of me. So we actually meet up and work together a lot of times. But I have definitely worked with people that I've never seen. I have no idea what Gavin looks like other than his Twitter profile page.
So how do you guys get together and talk about stuff? Do you guys do like a Skype thing or?
We use
Can you
Skype.
send a bat signal?
We use Skype. We communicate through Skype. We use the chat feature. We use the voice chat. That's the best way to communicate. And through some of my other projects, I mean, definitely the same thing. Plus, calling people on the phone. And communication.
Yes, internet.
Internet.
Yeah. You have to stay in contact with each other, even if it's not necessarily like an important update about the game or anything like that. Just to let the other person know, like, hey, I'm still living, I'm still working on this project, because you don't see them. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's tough for people to work with, and you programmers understand, like, we could go weeks and work, and you visually see nothing. And so giving him small updates, like, hey, I'm working on the health system. The health system's going well. I'm working on the tech system. You can't see anything yet, but the tech system's going really well. Giving these small updates is key for any team.
Yeah.
Right, well, it provides a basis of communication and really allows the team to know what you're focusing on so that it doesn't get, like, worked on by multiple people even?
Well, he doesn't do a lot of the programming since I stepped in, because he wants me to focus on that, and I want him to focus on the art. But even with some of my projects, because I'm a freelancer, I've worked with other developers, and I'll implement a project management and actually assign tasks to people that need to do particular tasks. So
Say
I think Asana for that, because it's very easy to use, easy to understand, and flexible.
My fear is that someone that you work with ends up getting tired of something or burnt out, and so you try asking them a question and then they hide. I think that's
I've
like the
definitely
big
seen
reason
that,
why we
yeah.
don't have anyone else but me and my husband working on it, is because we want someone close that we can actually like
Rely on.
physically connect to.
Hunt down.
We know where their house is, so we can attack them.
So that's where the communication part comes in. If you get someone that's not really communicating, not really giving any updates, not like when you assign tasks to them, even if they don't work on a deadline type thing, if you stop seeing them check things off, give them a hey, what's up? And if you don't get something like that, then you need to go through and step through and like, hey, are you still there? And since I am a startup person, I legally bind people to their stuff. So if I hire them to work on something, or if we work on together, like I have a contract that sets up. Because, going in together, we're agreeing, even if it's 50-50 profits, we're agreeing on that. And if someone steps away, legally, I can't sell that product. But if you build it into a contract, then, and that person fails to communicate or work on the project, then legally you can kick them off of that project.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I don't think a lot of people do contracts.
Well, I think it depends. I mean, if you're talking just an indie team where there's no money involved,
Right.
like people aren't getting paid, then nobody's going to sign a contract for anything like that. And it's I think a completely different, like, I've been in several projects, and in the early days of me trying to, like, team up with people, I'm talking years ago, and like make a game or something, I tried the route of being all like project managery and like assigning tasks and stuff. And if it's not that person's passion project and you're assigning stuff to them, it's just something they'd agree to work on, it's not going to work out.
Right.
The biggest thing is, or the hardest thing I find is usually when you're getting a team together, especially if the people don't know each other that well, and it's just some free indie project, it's really hard because usually it's one person's passion project, and they're completely committed to it, and they'll work every moment of their free time on it, because it's their idea. But then getting other people interested in that, it's incredibly hard, if not impossible, because
It's a
they'd
tough
rather be
sell.
working on something that's their idea. So I think it's a really good idea to get your team together before you have an idea, which is hard to do also, but do that and then develop an idea together so everybody can kind of own that idea. I think that's a big step towards keeping a team of people that don't, that are kind of like strangers, keeping them together and working on it, because then everybody has like a piece of that that's like, like theirs. So,
Absolutely, I think that's a great way to do it. But there are some people out there that already have ideas, and my suggestion for the people that already have ideas is, and this is what I told Gavin with Bigger Texas. I was like, if I come on and work on this, then there will be changes.
Yep.
This is a solid game design, and it's not a solid system. So I understand it's your baby, but it's also our baby now, and we need to work on it together, and you need to be open about change.
yep.
And he really needed to think about that before agreeing to work together.
I believe it was Steven Spielberg that said that you need to learn how to kill your children. In the respect of working on things like that, something
Yeah,
that
it-
you like. In
Yeah.
like in certain aspects, if you have something that you really like, you're not going to see the flaws in it. So you literally need to know how to tear something apart and rebuild it a little bit. And
I
that's
completely
the skill.
agree.
Yeah, I think it's partly, yeah, the you're not going to see the flaws, but it's also partly, like I was saying, is if you're, especially in the indie space where there may or may not be any money coming in, like, yeah, maybe you'll do a Kickstarter later type thing, then there's the only thing that you're able to offer is a little bit of creative freedom, and you have to, like, if it's your idea, of course you're completely like gun
Committed
ho
to
and committed to it, because it's your idea. But how can you expect anyone else to be if it's not their idea, and they're not getting any kind of compensation, even if it's not monetary compensation. If they're not getting any kind of compensation for it, why would they want to work on it,
Yeah.
unless it's like your mom.
Or doesn't.
Your mom might work for free, but
Oh, yeah, but good luck getting my mom to do coding. Jesus.
But honestly, I think that's one of the biggest challenges we see, like with a lot of indie devs that are kind of getting started, that haven't ever sold anything. And it's hard because if you're an indie, you probably can't offer any money to like a new employee because you're not even able to pay yourself. So, until you get that project out there and hopefully make a little bit of money off of it. So it can be discouraging, but I think, yeah, just sharing the ownership or the responsibility, and the ideas, I think goes a long way.
Yeah, I completely agree. But then I'll add on to that too. Since we are on the indie team up stream, one tip I would give is if you have an idea for something, that's great. But no one really needs an idea, guy or girl.
Yeah.
Show your worth. So, like with Gavin, I agreed to work with him not because he had an idea, not because he was an artist, not because he had a cool idea that maybe a couple concepts. The kid had almost all of the art done. It was like, here, I can't go any further, but this is the game idea that I have, and here's the story. And I was like, well, this kid is clearly passionate about doing it, and I need to also show my passion in doing it and prove my worth.
Mhm.
So that would be my tip for someone starting a team, is to show that you're dedicated before asking someone else to dedicate themselves.
Definitely, yeah. You need to bring something to the table.
Mhm.
And a little side tangent on that is one thing you see a lot of times also is I've seen people where they're like, hey, I have this great idea, but I need like a programmer or an artist or maybe both. And yeah, they might be an idea guy or maybe they even have a skill set, but then they're like, I have this great idea, but I want someone to join, and I'm not going to tell you what the idea is until you agree to join. I'm
Right.
sorry, people aren't out there stealing your incredibly insane $1 million idea because it's not a $1 million idea. Everybody has ideas, and
And more than likely, if you have the idea, you're not the original idea.
yeah, and even if
Yeah.
it is original,
Originality is it doesn't exist.
yeah,
Very rare.
but even if it was original, like an idea doesn't matter if it's not implemented.
Right, exactly.
And
And
if you're
have
the
the means
one
to-
spreading that idea, like saying, "Hey, I have this idea," and you're putting a team together, unless there's someone else at the same time that's putting a team together that might work faster than you, or someone else that's already working on that same idea, you're gonna get it done first, anyways. So there's no, you don't need to worry about people stealing your idea. Like that's just a pet peeve of mine that I've seen online several times.
Yeah, I completely agree. And
I just think I ignore those posts. I'm like, definitely not even gonna consider teaming up with you if you don't even want to share what the idea is. Because how do I know if it's something I want to work on?
I get that with my freelance, not only game development, but websites and whatnot. They'll want me to sign an NDA and a non-compete before even knowing what I'm working on. And first of all, anyone that hands me a non-compete, I laugh at and
Yeah.
tell them no, because I'm a freelancer. That's what I do. Your competitor can be my boss. Now, I'll agree not to talk about how you do it, but I will not do a non-compete. So,
Yeah.
and I usually tell them, like, look, I need to know what I'm working on before I can tell you I can work on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was actually someone on Twitter a long time ago wanted me to do some concept art, and well, I was like, the only thing they said was like it's like Limbo kind of, where it's like I guess it's because it's black and white or something or silhouette, and so I'm like, well, so I'm asking them like what's exactly the style like and they wouldn't tell me. I'm like, so how are you gonna get me to work on something that if you're not gonna tell me what I'm working on? So I just
How do I know I can even rise to that challenge?
We
if I don't
promise
know
you,
what the
person that we
challenge
don't
is?
know, it's amazing, but we're not telling you what it is. But it's good. Trust me.
Oh my god. I've got this
I'm
awesome
user
idea.
123 on Twitter. Trust me.
Well, all right. So we're actually getting a little close here. So what are you guys' thoughts here?
what'd you say?
I said, what are your guys' closing thoughts here?
What do you
Bring
mean?
it
Like
on. I don't know, just on the conversation, just everything that we said tonight, I guess. I don't know. Any plugs, anything you guys want to say, anything? Because we've been going for about an hour, I think.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Hour and 20 minutes.
Not really, except for check out lonelymonster.com and play Boy and Pup.
LonelyMonsterGames.com.
Lonely Monster Games, sorry.
Play,
And
Brave
check out.
me too.
Huh?
That I'm going to be playing some Broccoli once we get off of here.
Watch out for those ladybugs. They'll get you.
The trick
Oh,
is running, even though, because they keep spawning and spawning and spawning. So if you stay in one spot, it's
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was standing still, and I was like, they don't stop.
it's a fun game. We really enjoyed making that, and we talked about going further, but there's not really the market for that game.
Really? Broccoli shooters? It's not a big, it's a little too niche.
Back in the day, that would have been Newgrounds material, man.
But it was a lot of fun. I would like to say to anyone that is looking to turn indie, um, join up with a game jam, even if you're doing it yourself or maybe find an artist or something online.
Indie Teamup.
Join a game jam. That'll kind of let you know how it's like to be an indie person.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do it, Colleen.
Go do it, Colleen.
I know. But I
Colleen's
told-
like, what?
I said that I will be an artist for someone next year, and someone said okay, so I guess I'm an artist for that person. But I don't know if I could just do it all by myself. Like, I don't know.
I can't do art. Like my stickmen look like cylinders, and so I can do the art all by myself. And some people can't. But at least try to find somebody and do a game jam, even if it's stick people and boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the idea.
Yep, my first Ludum Dare I did completely by myself, and I'm not an artist by any imagining of the word, and and I tried to do a 3D game. I can't model either.
Well, hey, a lot of game jam games end up looking rather rough around the edges.
Oh, it's beyond rough, but
Oh,
yeah, it
I
was
was
still
gonna-
fun, and it was completely playable. It wasn't much, but it was completely playable. It started, you could play, you could win, and you could die. So
that's the core
had the
mechanic.
key, yeah, they had the key components.
I was gonna show you what my Let 'em Dare, that one that I said that I failed.
Let 'em Dari.
Let 'em Dare.
Lundar.
Let's see.
Oh, you're gonna show us? We're supposed to be wrapping up.
And not
Colin.
the actual game. Well, the.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Go ahead, get it out real quick. Go for it.
But dang it. Yeah. So this is basically. It was an underwater theme, and you're supposed to go down. The heck. You're supposed to go down and down and down, and then all these grass is layers. And I actually did this in the programming with the water and everything, but this is as far as I got. And you go down and down and it gets darker and darker, and then at the very end you find the ET, a pile of ET games at the very end in a cave.
Atari games. That's awesome.
Atari. Oh, that's awesome. They actually buried those in New Mexico. You realize that?
I think they
Yeah.
dug them back up or something. There was some big
Yeah,
thing
they
about
dug it
digging them
back
up.
Yeah, I heard of
But
that.
yeah, that was it. So I kind of got scared, and I don't know if I want to do it by myself again.
It's a
All right,
skill.
well-
That's as my little wrap up point. Yeah, was just agreeing with James here and saying definitely do a game jam. I don't do enough of them. I try to do them occasionally, but yeah, definitely do them. And they will definitely teach you how to cut the fat out and just get the bare bones up and actually finish something. And that's critically important because finishing a game or a project is a skill just like any other skill. And unfortunately, many indies, myself included, don't get enough practice on the finishing part. You get plenty of practice on starting a project, doing maybe like programming like some kind of custom tile map editor or whatever the case may be. You probably do that 100 times as you're starting all these projects, but if you don't finish them, you're never going through the process of finishing. And a lot of people, when they get to the end, they don't even know what to do because they've never even finished something. They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
I just
how do
never feel like
I
anything's
publish this? How do
finished.
I advertise this? Yada yada, and that's something you need to get practice at. So it's not you, everybody. So definitely myself included. That
And a
would be my
plug.
closing thoughts.
Speaking of, just let everyone know about our PSX Jam
Oh
that's
yeah,
coming out, I believe, in February. It's a PlayStation 1 jam, possibly running for 1 to 2 weeks. But we are definitely doing it. And depending on, I don't know if we're going to do topics or what, but we'll definitely maybe do like a jumping flash game or something for ours.
Fun.
But yeah, I'm excited about it. Anyway, that is all.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But,
I'll plug again. Go check out Bigger in Texas. There's some information out there on Twitter and my Twitter page, and also the at Bigger in America. And check out Lonely Monster Games. We're doing a lot of great stuff. We plan on doing a lot more.
All right.
Sweet.
And of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun. It was kind
Thanks a lot for
of
coming.
a different
We were missing
different
Sean.
podcast due to Sean not being here.
Yeah, Sean.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's a wrap.
Awesome.
All right, well, this is Indie Teamup signing off. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.